the need for marriage, because such situations develop oftentimes where marriage is not made easy for Muslims. We should facilitate, encourage marriage, early marriage, to avoid this, so that young men and young women may grow up chaste, so their chastity may be preserved and protected, so that we don't have to resort to corrupt and artificial means like the practices of genital mutilation found in places like Egypt and the Sudan, where people seek to artificially ensure chastity on the part of women, an evil practice which has nothing to do with Islam at all. Better we just marry them young. We marry them young, we don't have to get into these things. We don't have to think about it, we don't have to try to avoid it, because they have married at the age which was recommended by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when we speak of issues of marriage to people, or marriage of people who are young, it is important also for us to keep in mind an issue wherein the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been maligned by some involved in missionary work amongst Muslims as a means of bringing Muslims down, making them feel ashamed of their religion. They point the finger at Muslims and say, your prophet was a pedophile. Your prophet married a young girl who was only 7 years old. This is considered in the society today evil. Sexual relations between an adult and a child, this is considered a crime known as pedophilia. However, we should note that this accusation is a false accusation. We should not feel shy, so we have to try to write books wherein we claim that Aisha really wasn't 7 when she was married, but she was 17. No. We don't need to go there. Yes, she was 6 or 7 at the time when she got married. She didn't come to live with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ until the age of 9, when she had her menses. Menses, which is the natural sign of womanhood. In our times, the idea of a 9-year-old being considered a woman might seem very strange. We have girls who reach the age of 20 and they're still girls. They don't know how to wash, iron, do the things of a home, take care of a home. They don't know how, because they're raised pampered. So in such a society, the idea of somebody who was 9 years old getting married, this is definitely strange, if not evil in their view. But the reality is that you're talking about 1,400 years ago. In a world, wherever you went in the world, people who were young at that age were getting married. This is not something strange. If you go back and look at the rulers in Europe, in Asia, wherever you went in the world, you will find that 1,400 years ago, people married, quote-unquote, children. And then we have to question, what is pedophilia? Is pedophilia marriage? Those people who are involved in the crime of pedophilia, what are they doing? They are going to third world countries, poor countries, where people are desperate and they are buying these children and abusing them sexually. They're not talking about marriage. They're not going there and marrying anybody. They're just abusing them. This is pedophilia. Marriage is a whole other thing. Marriage is an institution. Marriage is honor. There is honor there. A person's honor is protected. And then again, if one were to ask the West, so at what age should people be married? Well, they have different numbers. In fact, if we look at the statistics concerning Europe, for what they call consensual sex, means a female may have sexual relations at this age and her consent is sufficient. It's not considered to be rape or anything else, pedophilia or anything else. Right? Not talking about marriage now. They're just saying she can have sexual relations freely at this age. In England, it's 18. In France, it's 17. In Germany, it's 16. In Italy, it's 14. In Holland, it's 12. So then what is the age? What number are we going to use? These are just arbitrary numbers they've just thrown around. So what is considered a crime in one country is considered perfectly legal in another. And this is within the European Union itself. What Islam has prescribed here is puberty. This is a real dividing line. When a girl becomes a woman. A little woman, but still a woman. This is God's sign in what we call nature, showing that she is now capable of bearing child. So there is nothing wrong with it, nothing we should be ashamed about. So marriage should be encouraged to protect the society, males and females, from ending up in these situations of corruption where they're driven and tested because of their state of having not been able to get married because of a variety of different reasons. Obstacles which are placed in front of them by parents in our societies today. We need to fight against these. And a young woman needs to know that if she feels herself in need of marriage, and if her parents refuse to marry her, her father, who is her guardian, he refuses to marry her because the person who wants to marry her is not a Pakistani, or is not an Algerian, or is not a Malaysian, or is not an Arab, or is not. These reasons which have nothing to do with Islam, which are cursed by Allah, about which Prophet Muhammad said, "Man da'a ila al-asabiyya falaysa minna." Whoever calls to nationalism, tribalism, is not of us. Young women need to know, and young men need to know, that if parents refuse, they have the right to go to the Qadi, the Muslim judge, or the Muslim Imam, the head of the community, and have the authority of the father taken away, where the Imam can now stand as the wali for the one whose wali is or whose wilaya is invalidated by their refusal to marry young people because of un-Islamic reasons.